Welcome back to the learning curve, and I am still on a very steep learning curve when it comes to learning how to use my new camera, the Insta360 One X2. And something I learned recently I wanted to share with everyone else out there, because on the learning curve, as I learn, I want you to learn. So what I learned is something quite special about the ViewFinder feature in the Insta360 Android app. ViewFinder is something that you use in the Android app to reframe your 360 videos, and then you eventually export them as regular flat 2D video. And I prepared a little demo because I have a 20-second video clip on my phone that I shot using the Insta360 One X2 camera. And this was shot on my scooter. I had the camera mounted ahead of me on the scooter, and I filmed for a few minutes, and I've trimmed 20 seconds of it to do this demo. And normally, if I'm reframing this video using ViewFinder, at least normally in the past, what I had to do was move the camera angle through 90 degrees or through 180 degrees in order to change the camera angle. What I mean is I might want to switch between having the camera focused on me and then change it so now it's focused on the road ahead of me, and then change it so it's focused on, the pavement and just the front wheel, or change it to it's aiming, to the right or to the left. And the way I was doing it was to actually, again, using ViewFinder, I would hold my phone while I'm reframing, and then I have to physically move all the way through 180 degrees, which is fine, but for someone watching the video, it might get to be a bit much, because as they're watching the video, the camera angle is like swinging back and forth, up and down all the time. And I was wondering, was there a way to use ViewFinder and get a hard cut, like a jump cut, so that the camera is filming ahead of me and then instantly it switches to me, and then instantly switches back to the road, to the tire, to the left, to the right. Do you see what I mean? Instead of swinging to the new perspective, the new camera angle, I want the video to just jump there instantly with no break in the video. And it turns out that you can do that with ViewFinder. And I was very excited to figure this out. I kind of figured it out by accident. There were no tutorials about this online that I found, no guidelines that helped me out. I just kind of stumbled on this, and there is a little bit of a trick to it. So that's what I'm going to share with you right now. I'm going to give a demo on how to do that with ViewFinder. So for this little demonstration, I'm recording two ways. I'm recording with my DJI Pocket 2, so you can see what I'm doing with the phone, and I also have the screen recorder on my phone, so you can see how I'm using the ViewFinder feature in the Insta360 One X2 app. So this is the app on the phone there, and I have the 20-second video clip showing. And I'll just give you a sense of what it looks like. I'll just play it here on my phone, and you can see what the original video looks like before I do anything with it. So there, the video is playing, and right now, of course, the camera angle is looking ahead of me on the road. But of course, if I spin the camera around, you can see that I'm also in the frame, and the side of the road is in the frame. And of course, the front wheel is in the frame. I can basically look anywhere I want within the 360-degree video. And what I want to do is reframe this so that I'm switching from one perspective to the other. And I'll show you the first way I did it, which in fact was the way I thought was the only way to do it. So basically, you go to the very beginning of the video, and then you put in a keyframe right at the very beginning of the video. And you have to do that because that opens up the keyframe menu. And the second item in on the keyframe menu is something called ViewFinder. So you click on ViewFinder, That opens up the ViewFinder menu, and now I'm going to switch to the screen on my smartphone and kind of walk you through what we're looking at. So there you can see that if I'm moving the phone around, I can move around inside the video. So I can look at me, I can turn it around to look at the road ahead of me, I can look at the front of the scooter, I can look at the side. You know, I can basically choose any angle that I want to choose. And to begin ViewFinder, what you do is line up the shot you want the video to start with. So maybe I want the video to start aiming back at me, and you can zoom in or out by pinching on the screen. So maybe I want it a bit wider than that. So I pinch on the screen and get a nice wide shot. There we are. And now to start ViewFinder, you press and hold down the red button that you see at the bottom. And when you do that, the video starts to play. And from that point onwards, everything you do will be recorded by the app. So whatever movements you make while you're holding down the red button will end up being your final video. So what I'm going to do is play the 20-second video with ViewFinder and move around from angle to angle. I'll start here, and then I'm going to move to an angle looking down the road, then looking at the front of the scooter, etc., things like that. So let's go through the process. And to do this, now I'm going to switch back to the DJI Pocket 2, and you can see what I look like as I'm doing this. Here I am holding my smartphone, and I have ViewFinder up and running, and I'm holding it as steady as I can because any jitteriness, like any movements you make, they're all going to be recorded as the final video output. So it takes a little bit of practice, a little bit of skill to press on the red button and hold it down the whole time. So here's the normal process. I'm going to press down the red button. I'm filming me. Now I want to change to the front view of up the road. Hold that for a couple of seconds. Then down to the front of the scooter. Look at the road. Back up. Maybe back to me. And that's it. Very simple. All I did was change the camera angle. But you notice that in order to do that, I had to swing all the way through 180 degrees, then swing down 90 degrees, back up 90 degrees, and then swing all the way back to 180. It gives me a physical workout. It's like exercise doing this because you have to stand up, hold the phone, and move it through all those directions. But someone watching the video would probably start to get a bit dizzy after a while. I mean, they're like swinging this way, then they're swinging back, then they're going, you know, the view is swinging through all these wide arcs. And maybe you don't want to do that. And I'm going to demonstrate how you can achieve changing camera angles, but without swinging through all those long arcs. So let's save what I just did there. Okay, now I save my changes. And now let's play the video from what I just did, and you can see what it looks like. So the video starts pointing at me, and then now it swings to the front, and I held it there for a few seconds, swung it down to look at the front of the scooter on the road, back up, and then I swung all the way back to me. And that's all I did for the 20 seconds. And that's not so bad, really, in terms of the swinging motion. But if you do that for like a 30-minute video and you're constantly swinging back and forth, I think that gets a little bit overwhelming for your viewer. So let's clear those edits, start over again. And now we're starting all over with a fresh point of view. And now I'm going to do the exact same thing, but I'm going to do jump cuts. And the way you do this, I'll explain it in words first. The way you do it is very simple. You start the ViewFinder process as normal. Just hold down the red button, but then when you get to the point where you want to change the camera angle, instead of swinging your phone around, all you do is lift up on the button. And that pauses ViewFinder. So you hold down the red button, and when you want to change, just take your thumb off. And you have to do it really fast as you can lift your thumb. And then, after I've lifted my thumb, then I move to the new perspective, press the button again, that restarts ViewFinder, and I continue for as long as I want in that point of view, and then I lift my thumb again, change the angle, press down on the red button, lift again, etc. So each time you do that, you get a jump cut. To start, you do exactly what you did in the first technique. You go to where you want your video to begin, and you insert a keyframe. And once you have a keyframe inserted, it opens up the keyframe menu, and then you click on ViewFinder, and that opens up your ViewFinder menu with the red button. And just as before, you have to line up your starting shot. So I'm pinching out a little bit to zoom, and now I'm going to reframe the video the exact same way, except instead of moving my phone all the time, I'm going to pause ViewFinder, and every time I pause, then I will change the angle on my phone and restart ViewFinder. So let's get started. I'm recording a few seconds of me sitting on the scooter, then I let go. And then you turn around, line up your next shot, and then you press down on the red button. Now I'm recording the road ahead of me, let go. Aim it down at the front of the scooter, my new shot that I want. Press down on the red button, release it, and then back to me. Press again to restart, and hold it there for the rest of the video that I want to reframe. And that's it. Save your changes, and now what you have is the exact same video with the same camera angle changes, but instead of in the video seeing this big arc, you actually get jump cuts. And I think one or two of the jump cuts is not going to be perfect, because you do have to develop a certain skill for like lifting your thumb smoothly. So you release it instantly and then start again very, very quickly. If you don't, you get 1 or 2 frames that are out of sequence, and then you have to go back in your editing program and delete those 1 or 2 frames. But the basic idea is there, and then you get better at it over time. So let me play this video, and you can see what it looks like with the jump cuts. Though, as I said, I think there's going to be 1 or 2 little mistakes in it, but let me play it, and you can see what we ended up with that time. So here we go. Starting with me on the scooter, and now when you get to that white line, you'll get a jump cut. Ah, not bad. Right to the front of the road, back to the front of the scooter, back to me. Perfect. Actually, it worked out better than I thought it did. I didn't make the mistakes that I thought. Just in case you missed it, sort of think about what's happening now, because in the first example that I showed you, when you're doing this, it's very clear you're using just one camera, right? Because you're pointing the camera in this direction, and then it's like you're swinging it around to aim it there, then you're aiming it here. But you're not really doing that with a 360 camera. The 360 camera, the magic of it is that you never move the camera. You don't physically ever move it, it just stays in the same location. It's only in editing that you get the different camera angles. And if you use this jump cut technique, it looks like you're using 100 different cameras, each one pointing in a different direction, and then you can jump from one angle to the other, instantly. So think about it from that point of view, and let's replay the video. So there we go. When it gets to that white line, it'll snap jump. Boom. Changes to like a new camera angle, new camera angle. So you can either use the original technique of just moving your phone around, or you can use these jump cuts, and then you get these nice smooth cuts you know, from angle to angle. So there you have it. That was my learning curve lesson for the last week or so. I kind of stumbled across this technique by accident, you know, just by playing around with it. So as I said, if you want the jump cuts, really simple. I made it sound complicated probably, but it's pretty simple. You just start ViewFinder, hold down the red button, and whenever you want to change camera angle, just let go. Get your new camera angle, start it again. So you're essentially pausing and then restarting ViewFinder over and over and over again every time you want a new camera angle. And one thing I learned about this technique is it's good not just for changing the camera angle, but for, you know, taking a break. Because sometimes when you're using this ViewFinder technique, you know, you're busy reframing your video, and if the video is 15 minutes long, your arms get tired, or your nose gets itchy or something like that, or you want to turn on the air conditioner, or your phone rings, you know, and you want to answer it. But instead of just stopping and losing all your work, you just lift your phone up, pauses ViewFinder, scratch your nose, you know, turn on the air conditioner, whatever it is you need to do. And then once you're ready to go again, you know, you just line up the shot, restart ViewFinder, pause it, restart, pause, restart. So that's it. Neat little feature of the ViewFinder feature in the Insta360 Android app. And I will see you in the next video.